What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. We're taking right off where I left the last video on this G35 coupe. If you guys recall, there is something going on with this transmission clutch, so in today's video I'm going to try to fix that. The crazy thing about this vehicle is it only has 106,000 miles, but the body looks like it has 200,000 miles. Just overall, it is very rough. You can see we have a side skirt that's falling off. The front bumper's not even attached. This fender is all broken and messed up. The interior is complete trash. It looks really bad. And you guys might be wondering, why did you buy it if it's in such bad condition? Well, one, it's a manual. It will likely sell fast. Two, I like to work on these cars and show you guys how to fix them. And I like the challenge of fixing something that has broken and people have tried fixing and they couldn't. I like to defy all the odds and fix these things. So what I'll do, like I said, is try to fix it, get this car back on the road so somebody else can enjoy it. Alright, so I have the vehicle supported here. I'm just gonna check for the slave cylinder, see if it's in good shape. If it's in good shape, we're gonna have to drop this transmission and replace the clutch. So right in front of us we have the slave cylinder. So I think this might be bad. There is liquid coming out of it, so we might be in luck, guys. I'm hoping that maybe by replacing this guy we can get our pedal back, but I'm gonna have to remove this so that I can inspect in through this little cavity here and see if I see any broken pieces of clutch that can also explain the issue we're having. But this looks promising. Before I didn't notice anything leaking, but right now I definitely see something coming out of this slave cylinder, which could explain why we don't have any pressure. So what I ended up doing here is I removed the boot on the fork assembly here, and I started playing around with this guy, and if I swing it back, you can hear the bearing has come apart. So it will definitely need a new bearing and probably a new clutch while we're there. So we're gonna have to drop this transmission. So I have the G35 supported by jack stands. What I'm going to do is disconnect the drive shaft from the differential, and I'm going to disconnect the transmission mount, and then I'm going to try to drop this transmission down today so that I can order the parts that I need to fix it and then get it back on the road. So I'm going to go ahead and do this right now. I've done countless transmission removals in the past. If you guys look up how to remove a transmission on G35, my videos will probably come up. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now and show you guys what I find when I disconnect the transmission. So we're having a pretty severe dust storm here, so I haven't done too much recording, but this transmission is pretty much ready to come out here. I'm just gonna separate it from the engine. So what I'm gonna do is take out the clutch because it looks like it is damaged and it's on its way out from what I can tell on the teeth. I'm going to replace that with a used clutch that I have that has very low mileage. So I was just getting ready to remove the clutch, but it looks like the pilot bushing came out.
This is not supposed to happen. So this just fell out of here. This clutch looks like it's kind of new, but I think what's going on here is somebody didn't install this right and it just completely failed. I'm gonna remove this all the way so that we can check what the damage is.
Alright, so in front of me I have the stock clutch kit that we just removed from the G35. So let's take a look at what happened and what could have caused this to fail. I think the main thing that failed was this throwout bearing. When this throwout bearing failed, there was no more contact on the bearing side, so it was just making contact on the clutch with this solid piece of metal. That over time caused the teeth on this pressure plate to get pushed in, as you can see here. When that happened, it probably destroyed everything else, like the clutch. Then the bearings from the throwout bearing were just hammering everything. As you can see, there's little dents everywhere. This clutch is completely destroyed. I don't think it was installed correctly. There's a lot of wear on the inside. And there's the OEM flywheel, dual mass. So I'm gonna just replace this all together with something else. This is what I have here to replace. A used clutch kit from one of my G35s that are parted out. I know this works good. I'm just gonna clean it up and toss it on the vehicle. So I ended up going to Nissan and I picked up a new pilot bushing because the pilot bushing that I had was also completely destroyed. Normally these guys are pressed in or pushed in into the crank on the back of the engine, right? But this one actually just fell out. If I try to put this back on, it just falls out. So obviously this is worn down. You can kind of see that there's a lip right here. My nail can catch onto it. That's how thick it should be. But over here it's warped down and it's actually tapered down, so that's why we're going to be replacing that. I'm going to go ahead and put this on, and then I'm going to clean the clutch that I'm going to put on with the solid one-piece flywheel. Once I do that, I'm going to go ahead and clean up the fork here on the throwout bearing assembly and then install the throwout bearing, and then clean everything up, grease everything up, and put the transmission back in. Alright guys, so it kind of got late last night, but I did finish putting the G35 back together. What I'm going to do right now is take it out for a spin, see if everything works. Fingers crossed, everything is done right. I think it should. Once I do this, I'm just going to clean it up, post it for sale, and that's going to be it for this one. Alright guys, so we have the G35 up and running. I did drive it around. Everything seems fine. Everything's working as it should. There is just one huge downside, and that downside is this transmission is bad. There is no third or fourth gear. I can get into that gear, but I gotta really force it. So I'm not gonna spend more money on this car. I have a transmission that I can put on this vehicle, but I don't want to take it out again since I just finished doing that right now. This is one of those projects that's gonna need a lot of work, and I don't have the time to put into this vehicle. So I'm just gonna sell it for a cheaper price. It should sell because it is a 6-speed manual G35. All it would need is a transmission. It does need some other work, but aside from that, it's actually a decent car with 106,000 miles. So that's pretty much gonna wrap up today's video. If you guys did find it entertaining, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more. I'll see you guys all in the next video. Peace out.